Hello and welcome to the Ferret Business Podcast. I am your host, YemmytheFerret, aka Yemmy, aka DJ Yemmy. And with me today, I am joined by a Let's Player, live streamer, and PC gamer who is on YouTube and Twitch. Please welcome Red Event Gaming to the podcast.
Hi there, my friend.
All his links will be down below, including Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and his YouTube Helping Hands Twitter. Red, how are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy as usual, you know what it's like.
Yeah, I know what it's like. I was up until, 3:30 a.m. yesterday, working on a freaking nightmare of a video. I mean, I had it, has this ever happened to you where you have it in your editing program, it sounds fine, everything's going good, you export it, you upload it to YouTube, and you listen to it on YouTube, and it's like, why is the audio muted?
Yeah, I've had an issue lately with a couple of the interviews I've done for my Just Talking series where I didn't notice until the edit process that something had gone wrong with the recording software.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Unfortunately, I've had to let two slide, but luckily I fixed it before I did the next batch, so yeah, it's just frustrating when those things happen. We just have to deal with them somehow, I think.
Yeah.
It causes some stress.
Yeah, it does. Yep, I think I lost a few hairs, but the sanity is still in check, so that's good.
I'm still waiting for comments tonight. I've had my hair cut quite drastically from the last lot of things people have seen me in, so I'm expecting a few comments on tonight's live stream. So yeah, these things happen.
What's the worst blunder that's happened when editing a video? Like for me, probably today or yesterday. Actually, it was today, wasn't it? It was probably the biggest hiccup in editing for me. What about you?
It's not so much. It was the worst thing that's happened to me was I was moving house 7 months ago now, and I knew I was going to be moving. I didn't know what sort of facility I was going to have access to in the new place with regards to internet and everything to start with. So I was going to be staying with some relatives, and I recorded basically 2 weeks worth of videos, two videos a day. Had edited them all by the Friday. I was moving on the Wednesday, so by the Friday night I'd finished all the editing process before I moved. All I had to do the Saturday morning was upload them. Got up Saturday morning, turned the computer on to find the hard drive had failed. And lost the lot. There was no backup. I hadn't had a chance to back it all up or anything, which I now do. But yeah, that caused major stress. And the worst thing is, of course, because it's Let's Plays, I'd lost all the points in the saves as well, so it's not as if I could jump back. It was a case of going, oh well, so one series is still going, which is my Sheffield Shield Football Manager series. And if you go back and look at, you can tell when there's been technical errors because all of a sudden I'll start a new batch of them and kind of have to recap what happened in the bit that missed out.
Okay.
But it's one of those things that you learn as you do this. It'll be from when we're recording this, it'll be 8 months tomorrow since I uploaded my first video.
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Yeah, it's almost a year, and it's been a thoroughly amazing year. I've loved 99% of it, I would say. Those technical issues cause stress that you don't need, but I've met some amazing people, made some amazing contacts, got to play some amazing games, which I probably wouldn't have got a chance to, which I wouldn't have probably played if I wasn't doing this. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
What do you think the biggest mistake people make when coming to YouTube is?
It depends. I mean, I think the biggest mistake I made was I didn't realize how much time it was going to take. Everyone thinks when you watch this, and I've spoken to about it with a few people, that you watch these 20-minute videos and people think it takes 20 minutes to make.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It'll take. I mean, when you first start, you do rush them, but now it's like, okay, I've just done a batch of records, but that's me thinking ahead for the next week. But I now know that it'll take me 5, 6, 7 hours to get each of those episodes ready to the point where I'm happy with them. But I know myself, it's that time aspect I don't think people realise. I mean, that's me because I do videos every day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, time I think is the biggest mistake people make.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
I'm still waiting for someone to invent the 30-hour day.
Yeah,
that's what I need.
Yeah. I can definitely see time being like if you go into it like you said, rushing it. I mean, you're not gonna if you're not editing your videos, like what are you doing? You're just gonna upload them? I don't know. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Because I even like editing the podcast, it's like I can't like just not listen to it back and just throw in the audio track and go
a bit silly.
Right.
Bear with me a second.
Okay.
All right, I think it's back. It's back.
Okay.
That's the other thing people don't realize sometimes happen is we rely so much on the internet, and there's no such thing as perfect internet.
That's true. Even on Discord, it fubs up a lot. Like I was very early on, me and Mastech Gaming were trying to do a podcast over Discord, and eventually we just were like, let's try Skype, and that worked perfectly. So yeah. It's probably just Discord being a butt.
Yeah, all that's to say, when I record my interviews, I do use Skype because I just find it a little bit more stable for the type of stuff I want to do. But then it's the finding of the software, because there's no place where you can just go and go, right, this is what you need to do, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
It's that hours spent researching those silly little bits of equipment and technical stuff that you need to do podcasts, interviews, game recordings, all that. Some of it's fairly straightforward, so everyone knows of things like OBS. There's so many different editing softwares. Those things are easy, but it's silly things like this that people don't. That there's not just a site where you go, try this. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, the YouTube can be challenging, and especially if you're recording and it doesn't go right. I mean, that can be a challenge too, trying to get things right. I know. Yeah. I don't remember whose podcast it was, but my audio for some reason double recorded that day. So that's why every time I do a podcast, I do a clip of audio from myself beforehand, just in case something happened. Yeah. So I don't have to re-record all that audio and then make it sound like. I mean, it literally just sounds like I'm like talking to no one, and then someone's responding to me, and I'm like, I don't want to, it's like you don't want to delete that video because that person gave their time, that person, did this with you, and you want to put the video out. It's hard. It's sometimes it's very tough.
Well, that's it. As I said, that's why when I had the issue when I did the recording, it was with Colonel Failure and Kyle XFM, but they're the only two people that actually commented that there was a problem with the audio, but I didn't want them to miss out on what they had to say. Mm-hmm. They've both been, and I thank everyone who's taken the time to do stuff with me on videos or even in the background on stuff. I mean, I've got people who work on graphics and that for me now and all that, and I thank them all, because without their help I wouldn't be able to get to where I'm getting to. And as I said, I didn't want them to miss out on the message, but you have to just sometimes go for it. Right. And unfortunately, sometimes I've laughed up until this last couple of weeks. There's one video that I hated doing, but I was given the game, and if I'm given a game, I will always try and do a record with it if I can, even if I don't enjoy the game. But I put it up, and for a long time, it was one of my most popular, most viewed videos. And I just used to sit there and laugh, because I thought, have I got to not enjoy everything for the videos to be really appreciated, for it to really go well? Mm-hmm. Luckily, there's a couple of newer videos that have now gone up that have just smashed it out of the park for me.
Oh, good.
So, but yeah, that was always my little private chuckle for many a month.
Well, speaking of games, what's your favorite game to play on the channel then?
Oh, it's gonna be Football Manager. Football Manager. That one isn't even thought about, because that's been I've played that game since it first came out 25 years ago.
Oh wow.
well, over 25 years ago, they've been coming out in annual versions. You know, the very first version, when you wanted to play it, you used to have to. It came out in 3 floppy disks, and you had to copy the floppy disks each time you wanted to play it because it would. Of course, there was no hard drives in those days, so it used to write the data to the disk every time it played. So your save disk game was your discs. But now, yeah, it's kind of what's got me into doing this, and it's something I enjoy. I'm a massive football fan. That's why it features so heavily on my channel and on my streams, because I can just relax and play that game.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel I can focus more on the people who are watching and things like that. If I've got I did a stream with 2 Point Hospital recently. I was having to concentrate too much on the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Some of the other games I played, I mean, Project Hospital I've loved playing, 2 Point Hospital I've loved playing. Well, there's a theme there. Depraved were one of the first proper developers to really say, look, here's our game, go for it. It's been such a fun game to play. So I've been very lucky with the games I've got to play. But yeah, Football Manager is my favourite.
Let's talk just a little bit about your Just Talking podcast that you do. What's the overall theme of it? Is it just you just talking and doing what you want?
Sorry, I didn't actually hear what you said there because the internet cut out just briefly, and I heard the second part of the question, but not the first part.
Let's talk about the Just Talking podcast you do. Is there an overall theme to it, or is it just you choose a topic and you go for it?
With Just Talking, it's been about letting people know what's going on from within the channel. I think a lot of it is it's trying to feed back. You know, people don't watch every video, and they might miss out on a giveaway, or they might miss out on, you know, an update or a change of series, or if there's been a problem why a series hasn't appeared. But it's also been a chance to thank people for watching the videos, for people who I see that I feel deserve a shout out, a leg up. But just a chance, and also a chance to just catch up with other YouTubers and streamers to say, look, come on guys, you know, it's a great community that we're part of. And I think it's the best bit of advice we're all given at the start is those that, you know, collaborating with others. And that's just it. That was my way of doing it, was to start with, because at the time my PC wasn't the greatest, still not.
Mm-hmm.
But it was by doing the interviews, I could have a chat with someone, see where they're coming from, see what their thoughts are, share the struggles, but also again behind. Well, you know, quite often when we finished the interviews, we've sat and had a chat and maybe discussed how we do certain things and help each other. So it's been nice building that bit of community as well. So yeah, Just Talking is just my way of giving back and saying, look, thanks guys, in a lot of ways. And
then you also help with the Twitter, YouTube Helping Hands. How did you get into that?
I wasn't invited at the start, even though I've now been classed as a founder. I came in about a month after they were already up and running. But basically, it's a bunch of people who want to help YouTubers and streamers just improve, get better. You know, again, it goes back to what I said with the getting the sources of stuff. I've had many a chat with people and said, look, this is where you get these games from.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you get this bit of information from. This is a bit of software that you use. The best thing I always say is people think that you've got to spend a lot of money doing this. When I set up my channel, it cost me £5. Now I think I worked at about $3.50, something like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't spend out a lot of money, and I mean, okay, yes, there's certain things now I am spending money on, like I've bought, and just recently got a new camera, and other bits and pieces. But it can sometimes just be having that right conversation with someone where they go, oh, I've got this that can help you, or I've got that. So it's the YouTube Helping Hands community is just that thing of being able to help people as soon as I can't do it financially. I'm not in that position to help people that way. But if I can give them that bit of advice that says, look, try this out, try that out, just try tweaking that a little bit. Get your exposure. Twitter is a great source for getting exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't use it well. I mean, I probably overuse it. I admit that. I will hold my hand up. People probably go, God, he's on it again. But I've grown my channel now to we hit 600 subscribers last night. I've got to nearly 300 followers on Twitch. I'm at about 2,300 followers on Twitter. Without doing these things I've done, the numbers wouldn't be there. And there's still, my channel's growing. It's growing nicely. But I know that people give me advice to help me better, and if I can share that with others, that's what YouTube helps is about. It's helping each other just get that leg up.
Yeah. So let's talk about where the name Red Event Gaming came from.
Oh, that was hours of sitting down trying to figure out the way to do it. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
I'm a devout Liverpool fan. I was born there. And that's where the red part came from. There's a phrase that, my mum said it was better red than dead. So that's where the red came from. Games, well, that was always going to be the focus of that part of the channel. I have to say that way because there's some other bits and pieces that are coming up in the near future.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the games part, and I was trying to then find some way, because red games just sounded flat. But it's again, our friends have said gaming should be an event. We all know what's like the build up to a new game coming out. It is an event. So when I kind of put those kind of bits together, Red Event Games just kind of came together, and that's how it was born. I mean, it took hours, it took conversations, it took playing with lots of bits of paper, trying different things out, also searching on YouTube and Twitter to try and find names that weren't taken, even by channels that were defunct.
Mm-hmm.
It took hours, absolute hours, but I will always be a red and red at that. So yes,
it'll always be.
That's where Red Event Games came from. But as I said, it's going to take a slight change in the very near future.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to get original names on YouTube.
I can't hear you at all at the moment, Yemmy.
Oh man, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I was gonna say it's
and then it goes again.
Oh.
Yeah, gotta love Discord.
Discord. I ask you politely to work, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Is that louder, is it?
That's good. I think the audio is good.
There you go. Yeah, I was saying, this is why Skype is just a lot. For some reason, I think Microsoft do it deliberately to people. Go, you're going to use our software. You're going to use our software, whether you like it or not. You are going to use our software.
Well, I've had trouble with people who use Apple computers too. So I think it's a Discord thing. Although the conspiracy theory is strong though.
I wouldn't surprise. I mean, they're not allowed to physically do it anymore, which is why they're not allowed to ship their PCs with Windows Explorer on it anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. When you first fire up a PC, it now says which browser would you like to use.
Yeah.
That's why they've got to do it. They're not allowed to say you've got to use Internet Explorer.
Or Edge now, as it's called.
Yeah. I'll still call it. It'll always be Internet Explorer to me. Yeah. I don't use it anyway.
Yeah, I use Google Chrome.
Yeah. Because they've got the monopoly on that side of things.
Right.
But right. So that's better.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's getting a lot harder to get an original name on YouTube, even PlayStation and Xbox and PC gaming and stuff like that. So it's good when you see people with original names who don't have to use numbers after them.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I didn't want to do that because, to me, it's. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it because I've got lots of friends who do have ones with numbers in them, but I wanted to make if I was going to make a proper go of it, I wanted it to have a proper title.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found Red Event Games, there was a couple of others that came close. But yeah, Red Event Games just sounded right for me. So yeah, that's just it. I was really chuffed in it. I like the name. It's worked. I said it has got a couple of changes it's going to have. But yeah, I like it. I like the plans.
So what inspired the logo change?
Well, the logo is, if you actually look at it, it's still it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
What changed it was I actually was working on some merchandise, and I got one of my first T-shirts. And when I looked at it, it was just a bit too dark in too many areas, and the writing wasn't very clear. So I had a new graphics design company say to me, "Come to me and I've done a deal with where I'm doing some stuff for them, they're doing some stuff for me." And one of the things we looked at was the logo, and just by tweaking a few bits of it, it's just made it brighter. And then we've kind of done the new kind of like badge logo as well. They've tidied up my banners, my headers, all this sort of stuff, just kind of make them look smarter. And as I said, with the new logo, it's just sharper, and that's what I like about it. It just kind of fits, so people can kind of recognize the instant colors. But we've kept to the same color palette that I've been using right from the start, but it's just tidier, I think.
Yeah, it
does
look good.
Well, that's it. It was just from that kind of merchandise point of view. It's in on the t-shirts, when you put black, it was in there, a black t-shirt, and then you had the dark green, and then the slightly lighter green inner. It just turned it far too dark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we said is, let's just make it more. And again, it's the kind of football badge look as well. It's kind of inspired it. So yeah, I love my logo. It was a labour of love back from, it's not even, these ones aren't even my original logo. If you go back to my very first videos, there's a completely different logo on it all, which featured Pac-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's why I took that off, because I thought if things work out, that's going to come into trademark issues.
Yeah.
So yes, I kind of, this kind of graduated, and it's kind of got the Celtic links to my family history as well. So
that's cool. So you stream on Twitch and you post videos on YouTube. Do you see a huge difference between viewership on either platform?
At the moment, no, because my crowds are very much the same people on both. I think over time I probably will notice the difference more and more, because there is some people that will only do Twitch. There's some people that just don't watch videos. But I think they're becoming fewer and far between. But I just wanted to keep the two platforms separate. Again, it goes down to a bit of advice right back when I was starting out, was to keep things diversified. If something goes wrong with one, then at least you've still got your platform on the other.
Yeah.
And I think what kind of drummed it into me more was, I don't know if it's in what happened with Crimson Studios when he lost his channel for that brief while.
Yeah, he was actually on the podcast talking about it.
Yeah, it's in his. Like Ryan. I've interviewed Ryan as well. He's such a nice bloke. That I think when that happened, all of a sudden, I think a lot of us just went, I've got to have a backup plan to this. And that's what Twitch kind of started off as. I didn't think Twitch was going to take off as well as it has, but it's gone really well to start with so far as well. So.
Yeah, it's scary to think that in a second, you don't even know what you're doing, and then your YouTube channel can just go, boop, you're gone. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So I back up everything myself, and I do have a Twitch too. I just don't use it too much. Tried it for a little bit, but the viewer base wasn't there. It was on YouTube, so I came back to YouTube, and here I am. But yeah, it's kind of scary,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any live streaming on YouTube. I do plan to do some. I'm not exactly sure when. Well, I do. I have a target that I've got for one I want to do, but that's that's going to be coming in. Well, actually, no, is when I've set myself a goal, and there's a few people already aware of it, is when I get to 1,000 subs, there will be a live episode of Just Talking, which we will do on YouTube, because that's where Just Talking's based. But I will do, of course, a couple of tests beforehand just to make sure it all works, because I'm used to Twitch. I've got used to it now. I'm still making changes there, again, trying to get different bits of software to work the way it's supposed to. And again, there's issues across some of those as well. But as I said, I do plan to do YouTube, but I like live streaming on Twitch. It's a platform that's built for it. YouTube is a platform built for videos, and they're trying to do Twitch, I think, just to try and take the crowd away from them. I just don't think they quite. Again, it's the rules around numbers that YouTube has works maybe for the video side of things. I don't think it's fair to streamers on there. But Twitch, just make it. You can start earning a little bit quicker.
All right. So final question for today. This might be the toughest one. What are your thoughts on American football?
Love it.
Love it.
Love it. Played for 2 years.
Oh wow.
I was lucky. I grew up in a time when American football did grip this country. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. That tells you how long. I supported them I started supporting them about the year before we won the Super Bowl. So that says how long ago I've been an American football fan.
Wow.
But I started off as a defensive lineman. We played full kitted as well. I started off as a defensive lineman, got taken off the defense for being too dangerous in practice, and got moved to running back. Played running back for a couple of years, and loved it. Absolutely loved the sport. I always say it's sporting version of chess.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that tactical nature of it that you've got to be planning 3-4 moves ahead of yourself. And it's just, I can understand why people get frustrated by it because of the amount of advert breaks and all that. And in fact, an hour game takes 4 hours. I can understand why people get frustrated by it, but I love it. I don't get to watch as much as I would like to now because we don't have the coverage in this country that we used to have unless you pay for it. And yeah, I'm going to try and catch a few more games to watch this year. And I would love to I always said is one of the cities I want to visit is Chicago because I want to go to Soldier Field, but it's got to be on a proper, wet, windy, frozen day at Chicago. So yeah, I love American football.
Yeah,
you didn't expect that.
A lot of people I talked to from your area, they go, oh, American football.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it. And people don't. I mean, I said I grew up, and I said I count myself lucky. It was a big thing. I had a weekly show. I had a couple of weekly shows on British TV at the time. As it is, even though I grew up in a very small place. I mean, I always say town, but most people wouldn't even describe it as a village, was 6,000 people. So the fact that we had a junior and a senior American football team. I was on our youth team. We had 28 players, and in the whole time I played, we only ever had 1, maybe 2 missing from a practice session. And I've played football, and even football in this country, you don't get that sort of turnout on a regular basis. And it's that team I know now, still many moons later, I can walk into a pub or a shop and bump into guys I played with, and they're like, "Hi Leon, how's it going?" Still to this day, it's a unique bond that you get playing American football that you don't get in another sport. I've played lots of sport, even though most people now look at me and go, "How?" But when I grew up, I grew up in a place called the Shetland Isles, which, if you look on the British map, is nearer to Norway than it is to Scotland. And in the winter, it gets dark very quickly. So you kind of have to fill those evenings with stuff. So you kind of did. I mean, I've done archery, I've done diving, I've done all sorts of bits and pieces of sport. But winter sport for me was I sailed, I raced dinghies for 14 years, loved it. I played a bit of football, but it was, and I loved playing, but I was never particularly good at it. But then I said I played American football for 2 years, and that 2 years are probably, if I could go back to any sport that I've done in my time, it would be go back to play American football again.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I absolutely love the sport. It's like you guys, but as you said, most people in this country don't understand it. But then I think most people on your side of the pond don't understand soccer properly.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
It's like if, it's when I look at the rivalry. I'm a Liverpool fan. The rivalry between us and Manchester United, unless you're you're really into sport, people go, it's two football teams. Wow, but for us, it's a passionate rivalry. I've just learned to appreciate these things. We're very lucky with the things we get to do. But yeah, I love American football.
Yeah, I know when I was growing up, we had a soccer team here where I live, and then somewhere along the line it just got disbanded. I don't even think we have a world stage soccer team from America.
Well, it's getting more and more. We hear more about it on this side of the country because of the likes of Beckham going over there, Steven Gerrard, Frankie Lampard, the fact Beckham's now opening the franchise in Miami. We hear all these sorts of bits and pieces of what's going on out there, but it doesn't probably get the coverage, because I think everyone, I remember back when the Americans tried a league back in the 70s, and it just didn't take off. And it would be interesting. The MLS, I've actually featured the MLS on one of my series, so I've been a bit of time. I've seen some of the teams that are out there. It's up and coming. Mm-hmm. But people need to get behind it more. It's a great sport. It's a great team sport. It's a great pub sport if you want to go out with a bunch of mates and watch a game and just have a laugh and all that. But for us in the UK, it's the sport. It's that, rugby. Mm-hmm. That and rugby pretty much. Probably the two biggest sports over here.
I was talking to Patient Wolf earlier on the podcast, and I had to apologize to him for the abysmal display that my team, the Cleveland Browns, had when they went to when they went to the UK to play at the one game that they play over there every year. This year the team is looking a lot better, but last year we lost all 16 games, and the year before that we won 1 and we lost 15.
I'm a Chicago fan. I know where you're coming from. Yeah. If we win a game, it's time for a party.
Yeah. But I didn't know him personally, but I did go to school with that Mitchell Trubinsky.
Trubinsky. The quarterback.
Yeah, I remember I was in the marching band, and they would announce his name on the. He was like a freshman when I was a senior, but they actually had him playing quarterback when I was in the school.
Oh, he looks such a good prospect. I just hope he does what everyone expects him to do. I've kind of learned, maybe from the football side of things, that you see, in football we always laugh, these wonder kids, as we call them, coming through, break into first team 17, 18, 19 years old, and then watch them disappear. And I just hope he doesn't become one of them.
Yeah, the thing is about the Browns, they put the new guy like Johnny Manziel and people like that, who's a meme now. They put him at the front lines. They put him in the quarterback position. And they go, "Hey, turn the franchise around."
Yeah.
Luckily, we've bolstered like last year. Our defensive line did pretty good, and our offensive line did pretty good. This year, I think we definitely bolstered it, and we've got a quarterback who kind of knows what he's doing in the pocket. So hopefully we'll get the first win today against the Steelers.
Oh, that's it. That's it. I haven't even looked to see who we play today or this weekend. I haven't looked because I've been so busy. I will be having to look because I will also try and see what sort of, because again, it's that time difference. Mm-hmm. Gets me every time. It's
tough.
Well, that's it, because I can normally guarantee that the times that there are sensible evening kickoffs, it will clash with something else. And that's the thing at the moment. The moment we're on an international football break,
right?
here at the moment. So there's no Liverpool match this weekend. But I think we've got. It's either Man United or Everton next weekend. Can't remember. But whatever it is, big game. Well, like Man United are they were classed as the Northwest Derby. Everton are because Everton are also a Liverpool side, so it's a massive derby. It's a bit like when the Giants and Jets were both in New York, but now it's here. But I mean, but with Chicago, I look at it and I go. I mean, I when I look back at the players, we were lucky with Jim McMahon at quarterback, Walter Payton, the great Walter Payton at running back, Kevin Singleton backing him up at fullback. But you had the fridge, William Perry on the defensive line, Richard Dent, who led our defensive line superbly, Mike Singletree, who was just a beast of a linebacker. All these guys, when I was growing up, were the people when I was playing and watching American football, as much as I could, were my heroes. As in Walter Payton, when we were playing American football, what number we wanted for running back, I deliberately did not choose number 34 because to me, there's no one in the world who could match him. Mm-hmm. Still to this day, I don't think there's been a running back as exciting as Walter Payton since. And also the fact nowadays it's more of a passing game. It bugs me. And he's saying this, it was always that battle. That I think again it comes down to things like the concussion syndrome and things like that. They don't like people battering heads as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems to have taken the running game out of the game completely. It's just, to me, it's a shame because it's, as a running back, passing was kind of something I did on the side.
Right.
Receiving. To me, I was always the guy they pulled out when they went to receiving down because I just couldn't catch. But when a running down came in, yeah, I was the guy that got ploughed straight up the middle. I loved it.
And then real quick, since you are such a big American football fan, do you ever get, strange looks from your fellow mates or?
Oh, most of my mates just don't understand it. I'm going to say this, I've not long moved to this area. I moved to a different part of the country 8 months ago, so the people around don't really know that side of me. But growing up, a lot of the time there was quite a few of us who did, and I actually got more mates who came into it. I still remember one of the guys because I was playing it like when I was my last year at school. I was playing, and I remember it was one of the guys who I hung around at school, and you probably nowadays he would be called a nerd. In those days we just called them dweebs, but he was probably what you'd call as a nerd. And I remember him saying, could he try out? And I was thinking, oh dear. And he came, and it was honestly as if somebody had just seen a different side of him. But as soon as that helmet came down, I'm sure his eyes glowed red. As soon as he pulled that helmet down, he just turned into something else, and he ended up becoming one of our starting defensive linemen because I think he just took everything out on the people in front of him. So mates who, I think nowadays, mates I've met since like where I lived before and mates here don't really understand it because it's not a big thing in the UK at this time. Mates back to when I was back at school and that part of my life, you can say to them, they'll go, I'm a Dallas fan, I'm a Giants fan, all this, before all the expansions happened when it was a 24-team league. Shows long ago, I'd been watching it. Those guys understand it, respect it, love it. I've got one of my best mates. We used to always go down theirs for the Super Bowl. They were a Green Bay fan. That used to cause me no end of pain. But
Green Bay's kind of dropped off the face of the earth now too.
Yeah, well, the thing is with it, yes, but as a Chicago fan, the amount of times I used to have to sit there and go, they're like, Green Bay's in the Super Bowl again. You're like, yes, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they had their time.
Well, that's it. And I think Chicago will come back. I do. I think they've kind of hopefully headed in the right direction. But you never know. And one day I will get to Soldier Field. That's one of my missions. I've got a few missions, and they all seem to involve visiting America at the moment. I want to get to Soldier Field. I've been challenged by a few other YouTubers to try and get to VidCon next year. Yeah. Because again, it's that kind of link up. So, and Ryan's one of the ones that's challenged me. I want to. There's things I want to go and do. It's a country I want to visit, and one day, maybe next year, I'll get that chance. And it'll all come through YouTube if it does.
Sounds good. All right, well, that is all the time I have today with Red Event Games. Like I said, all his links will be down below, so make sure you check them out. Red, is there anything else you want to say before we end the podcast?
No, Yemmy, thank you for your time. Thank you for this. Thank you for putting up with all the technical issues. We get there in the end. And yeah, I appreciate this, my friend.
Yeah, hashtag Skype is better, huh?
Yeah, Microsoft dominated.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for coming on, Red. It was a pleasure. And as always, I am the host, YemmytheFerret, and this has been another episode of the Ferret Business Podcast.